on the bow deck of the ship over 10 minutes later. The fog over the river doesn't seem like it'll clear anytime soon. Now that we're short-handed, we'll have to wait until tomorrow to continue on our way. Of course, safety is of utmost importance. It's almost midnight. You and Mr. Joseph should go rest and carry on the interrogations tomorrow. With Liang Xin and Al keeping an eye on Yunchu, nothing can go wrong. That sounds like something will go wrong. Master Wu, there really isn't anything else on the ship that can be used as offerings. Mr. Joseph, Mr. Shen, please talk some sense into Master Wu. It's going to feed our food to the fishes again. Which celestial being are you worshipping, Mr. Taman? I'm telling you, Yunchu must have been bewitched to be able to do such a thing. I need to beg the Loon King underwater to give her a way out. Liang Xin stocked up on some sardines to make stargazy pie. You could go ask him for some to give to Mr. Wu. Mr. Joseph. Go on then. I knew I could rely on Mr. Joseph to be reasonable and fair. By the way, Mr. Wu, we need to preserve Miss Yinchu's suitcase as evidence. As for the money and Yinchu's personal belongings inside the suitcase, I'll handle it. After all, those things ultimately belong to the Wu family. Well, in terms of evidence, we will need the suitcase and the poker cards. Of course, no problem. I almost forgot. We also need the Mahjong card in Yinchu's suitcase, the 8 of characters. Those Mahjong cards in the box, were they left by you, Miss Yinchu? If I answer yes, how would Mr. Shen reason it out? No. This can't be. Looks like someone's caught in a misconception. I overlooked the fact that the suitcase belongs to Yinchu. The 8 of characters shouldn't have appeared there. But such are the facts. Why? The 8 of characters was placed into the suitcase along with the poker cards. Yet all the other Mahjong cards were located conspicuously next to the bodies. What's the reason for such an occurrence? It could be that the power went out when Yinchu was putting away the poker cards. She packed the Mahjong card along with the poker cards into the suitcase by chance. The person who left the Mahjong card at the scene of the crime wasn't her. Then, obviously, someone else entered the room before Yinchu. That person is the actual murderer. Joseph, Mr. Taman, back to the dining hall. What's wrong? I have wrongfully accused Yinchu. The true culprit is still at large. Let's go. Shen gathered everyone back to the dining hall and shared his deduction. John, logically speaking, your analysis just now can indeed rule out Yinchu as a suspect. However, this also rules out everyone else as a suspect. Logically speaking, every single person now has a reason to not be the murderer. There must be something that we have overlooked. Come on then, I'll go over all 3 cases with you from the top. Co-op deduction. The first victim, shipmate Hao Chu, died above the cockpit. Cause of death, choked to death after becoming inebriated. There was a 9 of characters mahjong card next to him. Choking to death could have been an accident or a poisoning. Next. Madame Yin died in her cabin. Cause of death, pierced through the heart by a candlestick. There was an 8 of characters mahjong card next to her. After Madame Yin's body was moved to the crew cabin, the hairpin on her head was stolen. Then appeared the next crime scene. Old Ling died in the engine room, cause of death pierced through the heart by a hairpin. There was a 7 of characters mahjong card next to him. Based on the location and angle of the wound, we can confirm it was done by the same person. A hairpin is not an efficient weapon. Why did they steal it and use it to commit murder? Perhaps there is something special about this hairpin. Continue on first. Besides the 3 victims, 6 others also received mahjong cards. Wu Taman's card is the 6 of characters. He is most likely the murderer's next target. With L's 5, Yinchu's 4, my 3, your 2, and Liang Xin's 1, there is 9 cards. Wait a moment. Joseph, something is out of place. The order? I don't really know. The order of the cards is wrong. Really? I don't believe so. Okay. I don't know what would be wrong about the design because I have no clue about mahjong cards. There is something wrong with the number of cards. We were missing 8 mahjong cards earlier. What is the 8 of characters doing here? Oh. Otherwise, you'd still be stuck with that 9 of characters card. The Wus were missing 8 cards when they were playing. Madame Yin had the 9 of characters. For the murderer to take the 9 of characters, they had to wait until Madame Yin left. The power outage was done by that person specifically to steal that card. Which means the murderer only had 8 cards at first, then stole the 9 of characters later. This could have been accomplished in one go. Why did the murderer do it separately? Why would they have done it separately? Maybe there were unforeseeable and insurmountable situations that forced the murderer to do so. What kind of situation could that be? There is only one possibility. During the crime, something outside the murderer's plan occurred. Isn't that exactly what... Okay. For instance, the discovery of Hao Xu's death. Exactly. Why did the murderer insist on taking the 9 of characters instead of using a card at hand? The order. The mahjong cards correspond to the order of death and serve as a countdown. It is likely that the murderer already placed a few cards when they discovered Hao Chu's body. The murderer had to steal the 9 of characters because Hao Chu died before Madame Yin. Since the murderer is so intent on emphasizing the order, that actually indicates there's something wrong with the order. Without a doubt, Hao Chu was the first to die. However, Madame Yin's time of death is very close to that of Old Ling's. Even after conducting an autopsy, it is difficult to determine the order. The Mahjong cards told us that Old Ling was murdered after Madame Yin. John, it wasn't just the Mahjong cards. Don't forget the murder weapon used to kill Old Ling was Madame Yin's hairpin. When Madame Yin died, you and I both saw that she was still wearing the hairpin on her head. I noticed the hairpin was stolen after her body was moved to the crew cabin. Wu Timan said that this hairpin is intricately crafted and it is hard to buy one exactly like it. The murderer could only steal the hairpin after the crime, then murder Old Ling. If this was part of their murder plan, why not take it right after murdering Madame Yin? That is indeed unusual. Let's re-examine that hairpin and see what's special about it. The tip of the hairpin is quite sharp. It has been deliberately sharpened. There is still blood from the victim on it. The end of the hairpin is shaped like a flower with a green jade inlaid at the center. There is a white pendulous bead hanging on the tassel chain that seems to be some kind of jade. Any discoveries, John? This detail and a certain piece of evidence in my memories seem to contradict. Joseph, if I remember correctly, when a tassel of Madame Yin's hairpin hangs to the right, the jade stamen faces forward. Yet this hairpin is exactly the opposite. This is not the hairpin that Madame Yin wore. John, this discovery is enough to overturn every deduction we've made on this case. Everyone, John has several important discoveries regarding the case that he needs to announce. We have already confirmed that Miss Yinshu isn't the true culprit in this case. My apologies. I was negligent. I told you Yinshu wasn't bad. What made you change your judgment, Mr. Shen? Previously, I overlooked an important detail. Madame Yin's hairpin and the hairpin that killed Old Ling are actually a symmetrical pair. I don't understand. What does that prove? This means that the judgment about Old Ling's time of death has been overturned. The true trajectory of the perpetrator could be as follows. They killed Old Ling in the engine room with one hairpin and left the 7 of characters. Then they killed Madame Yin in the cabin with a candlestick and left the 8 of characters. After Madame Yin's body was discovered, they waited for a chance to steal the other hairpin, thus creating the illusion of Old Ling dying after Madame Yin, as well as their own alibi. Then, what's the deal with Old Hao's death? Hao Chu's death was an accident that even the murderer could not foresee. To reinforce the wrong order of death, they stole the 9 of characters for Hao Chu. I didn't expect this murderer to be so cunning. Mr. Shen, do you know who the murderer is? The only person who had the chance to commit theft and murder was... I believe it's probably him. I've said so. It's the Loon King. It's the Loon King. I've said so before, but I feel like he just fits the most as a suspect. He is like, if he's wrong, it's him for sure. It's Joseph. It was Joseph all along. Mr. Liangxing, you are the true murderer.
Huh?
Me? No wonder Liangxing has been so disrespectful to me today. He must be possessed by something. Your words are baseless, Mr. Shen. Do you have any evidence? Before the incident, you excused yourself from the dining hall to bring the shipmaster congee. No one knows how long it took you to deliver it. The shipmaster can vouch for me. Mr. Shen, after I sent L to get the congee, Liangxing brought it over shortly afterwards. Okay. Right, well, I'll go for him then. You must be possessed to say such a thing. Don't besmirch me as the murderer just because I'm nice. Mr. Wu was in the dining hall before Madame Yin's incident. He didn't have the chance to do it. Okay. But that... You know what that means, right? You know what that means. I mean, assuming that it's not Joseph or her, who we already said it wasn't, or us, and it's definitely not the shipmaster because he's still on the ship. And it's not Afu because he's Afu, and it's not the Loon King because, obviously, it doesn't leave anyone else. I didn't want to believe it, but we have no other option. The true murderer is L. L? Stop joking around, Mr. Shen. But, Detective, hasn't Elle been investigating the case with you the whole time? How could she have killed anyone? This young lass doesn't seem like she could kill someone unless she's been possessed. Mr. Shen, I don't think anyone believes that Elle is a murderer. You wronged my sister earlier. Are you mistaken again? Gentlemen, please be cautious. Lives are at stake here. John, we've been wandering in the mist for too long. Now the truth is about to be revealed. Do you have a way to break the doubt and prove that Elle is the murderer? In my memory, a minor detail about Elle contradicts one piece of evidence. All objects and all images settle in different locations sequentially. We do get presented. It's this, isn't it? It's the only piece of evidence we haven't used. It has to be. All contact leaves traces. There are no murder plans that can be created without a flaw. This steam valve is one of the flaws that Elle left behind. What can this mere steam valve explain? Elle once told me. Mr. Shen, this is the engine telegraph. It's used to adjust the ship's speed. Once you're done, the speed of the ship will be adjusted and the bell will stop ringing. However, according to my observation of Shipmaster Lowe's operation, to alter the speed of the ship you must adjust the steam valve on the steam engine. You're right, Detective. The engine telegraph is just a communication device. It can't change the speed of the ship. It's true, Elle rarely touches the steam boiler, but how does that prove she's the murderer? Because this steam valve has never been adjusted. It has always been in a fully open state. I thought that Mr. Shen was the one who adjusted the last acceleration. Mr. Shen, only you could operate such a complex steam turbine properly. And that was why Shipmaster Lowe praised me. When in fact, under Elle's guidance, all I did was operate the engine telegraph. This steam valve has been maintaining the same state as before Old Ling was murdered. Detective, I think I understand, but I also don't understand. What does this have to do with the case? The time of death. If we combine the steam valve with this evidence, we can deduce Old Ling's true time of death. Wait, what am I supposed to present here? Wait, give me the hint. Combined with another piece of evidence. His Mahjong card? Maybe? Or the hairpin. I'm assuming it's one of the two. Probably not the hairpin. The way I see it, there doesn't seem to be any relation between these two. Okay. What about this? Yeah, okay, that makes more sense actually. The log records the ship navigating at full speed before nearing the Loon King Temple. Thereafter, the cockpit issued a command to decelerate at 2130. Since there was a prompt response, there are no special records on the log, am I correct? Yes, that's true. But in fact, the valve of the steam engine remained fully open. Even though there was a response from the engine telegraph, the valve was not adjusted. No wonder our ship would hit a purpose. Shipmaster, even you didn't notice there was something off about the ship's speed? Although I did feel that the paddle wheels were turning rather quickly. It was too dark and foggy to determine the speed. Then everything else happened. Shipmaster Lowe, has there ever been a time where Old Ling forgot to adjust the steam valve? Never. Very well, this pretty much indicates that at 2130 Old Ling had already come to harm. Uncle Ling was murdered, of course he couldn't work anymore. What does that have to do with me? I have a professional habit of checking the time whenever something happens. Old Ling came to ask for Elle's help in the engine room around 2120. 10 minutes later, at 2130, as John had mentioned, the ringing of the engine telegraph began. Which means Old Ling was killed within the 10-minute time frame after you entered the engine room. After killing Old Ling, the murderer turned off the ringing noise but didn't adjust the valve. I hired Elle to work in the engine room, but Old Ling won't let her touch the steam engine. You've never touched a steam engine, so you only know how to operate the engine telegraph. Coincidence? That's really just a coincidence. Besides the deceased, everyone who received the Mahjong card has been in this dining room. As the waitress, you were able to naturally approach each of us to leave a card. Before the power outage, you were standing next to Mr. Wu with his socket right behind you. Is that also a coincidence? Are you saying Elle was behind the power outage? The power outage not only made it convenient for her to take the card from the table, it also created chaos and distracted the shipmaster from using the engine telegraph. As long as Old Ling's body was discovered after Madame Yin, her plan was half successful. Then she just had to steal the hairpin to create the illusion that Old Ling died after Madame Yin, giving her the perfect alibi while she investigated the case with John. That is why Elle is the true murderer of this case. Mr. Shen, could you allow me to say something? Go on. Mr. Shen, although we haven't spent much time together on this ship, I admire you greatly. I have no way to refute your analysis. What you mean is that our claim is consistent with the facts, am I correct? Elle? Elle, will you confess to your crimes? I'm sorry, Shipmaster. I refuse to confess. Mr. Shen, I learned a lot through investigating the case with you. You always say that there are no flawless crimes, but the truth is, flawless reasoning also doesn't exist. You can't ensure the integrity and authenticity of the clues you obtain. Just like Miss Yinchu's situation, when new clues appear, new logic may also arise. John, are you alright? I believe that Elle is correct. There is no guarantee that there will not be anything new unforeseen. Even if we limit the time of Old Ling's murder to a 10-minute interval, we still have no way to confirm that Elle is the murderer. Don't be too persistent, John. The problem Elle mentioned is precisely the reason why presumption of innocence is necessary. It is also the source of progress in crime investigation and forensic science. The purpose of a detective's existence is not to catch the murderer, but to find the truth. I understand. Since Elle investigated the case with you, she's been in your line of sight the whole time. This will have a certain impact on her behavior. Considering Elle was with me the entire time, the event may prove that she is the murderer. I have no clue. This event. She stole the hairpin. That's it, isn't it? I think that's the only thing that makes sense. Elle, if my guess is correct, Madame Yin's missing hairpin is still on your person. You were with me throughout the investigations, and that hairpin was the focus of our attention. I believe that you did not have the chance to get rid of it. Shipmaster Low, I would like to ask Miss Yinchu to help examine Elle's pockets. This is a last resort. Whether to execute it or not is up to you to decide. Well, life is at stake. There's no need for that. Huh? Elle, the hairpin that you're looking for is indeed in my possession. The reason why I've been holding on to it is for this exact moment. Help me! Don't kill me! Don't kill me! Master Wu, it's alright now. She's under control now. Yinchu just saved your life. Yinchu, weren't you tied up? This binding method is often used in escape magic. It can't trap me. Good. Magic is good. A few minutes later. Oh, that was close. Way too close. I didn't say it, but I was thinking that when Shen said, examine her pockets for the hairpin, I was thinking, you are in the process of telling someone to look for a murder weapon in the current possession of a murderer. I don't think that's a smart idea. Yeah. I was this close to putting an end to everything. Oh, there's no hate without cause. Did you have a bad history with these people? How could there be any bad history? This young lass must have been possessed. Wu Teman, do you still remember Chao Chengyi, head of the Yangtze River escort agency? I always thought my daddy and the others died because the waves tipped over the ship until... Quick, somebody cover up her mouth. Why? Aren't you curious as to why she wants to kill you? Go on, Elle. Until I overheard them with my own ears. I thought you said you'd leave with your family after you got the money. What are you doing back here? Also, why is Wu Liangxin the first mate here? He doesn't know something, does he? Master, Madame, don't worry. Running into you two and Mr. Liangxin was just by chance. I have paid for my sins. My wife and child have died of illness, and I will soon join them. I no longer want to have any further involvement in that matter, and I won't say a word. You better keep your word. Bite your tongue and carry the secret to the grave. Yuncho, I still think this is too much of a coincidence. It makes me feel uneasy. Those pirates you hired back in the day, can you trust them? They've long hated the escort agency. We seek wealth, they take lives. It's a sealed deal. Besides, those pirates are either dead or locked away. They're long gone. What if there was a careless slip-up somewhere? They were drugged, burdened with rocks, then buried in a sandpit at the bottom of the river. It's impossible to slip up. Then it seems that it's just a coincidence. Amitabh, good. You worked an inside job, stealing your own family's transport behind Old Master Wu's back. You even spread rumors saying the guards were motivated by greed and fled with the money. The poor escorts of the Yangtze River Escort Agency have been earnest all their lives. But they were betrayed, murdered, slandered and buried with dirt on their names. I just wanted to seek justice for them. Alas, after the agency died unjustly, peace was no more as the pirates ran rampant. This has been an utter betrayal of their heroism and sincerity. The reputation of an escort is greater than one's life. Every debt must be paid off. The families of the agency were willing to give their all, down to the last grain of rice, just to pay off the debt and save the reputation of the Yangtze River Escort Agency. My poor mommy died performing for money without living to see this day. These hairpins were my mommy's dowry. Yincho snatched one when she ransacked her home. The other, my mommy secretly hid it, saying she saved it for me to keep. These past few days, the tassel of the hairpin on Yincho's head has been swaying before me. After overhearing their conversation, how could I continue to suffer in silence? Mr. Teman, is everything Al just said true? I wasn't involved. Yincho was the one who came up with the idea. You weren't involved? So you didn't take any of the silver that was stolen? I just wanted to get some money to pay off my debt. I didn't think she'd be so ruthless. I didn't want something like that to happen either. I've been reciting scriptures every day, sincerely praying for the deceased. Since you are so sincere, Please put the whole story on paper and sign it, Mr. Timon. I don't think that's really necessary. Then anti-L. I don't want to have a brother like you anymore. Wu Liangxin, you ungrateful brat. You're trying to get your brother killed. This matter is between you and L anyway. Maybe you two just resolve it alone. Come on now. Write and sign or resolve it alone. Choose for yourself. All right, all right. Now that the truth is out in the open, what do you plan to do with L? In my opinion, they started it. L's revenge is understandable. However, L has still taken 2 lives. If we don't send her in... I knew I had to face the consequences when I killed them. Yin Chou and Uncle Ling are dead. Now with Wu Timan's confession, I have no regrets. I will accept all punishment. There's no need to put yourselves in a difficult position. Well, are you sure that's what you want? Considering the unlawful infringement your act of revenge targeted has long come to an end. Your revenge will be defined as murder. If we just send her in like that, Elle's life will be in danger. I'm responsible for my actions. I won't regret it. Mr. Joseph, is there nothing else we can do? Punishment must be executed by the officials to break the cycle of murder and revenge. John, what do you think? I would like to... What is the Great King Code? Let me look it up. That's probably facts, not knowledge, right? If anything. I'm sure it's in there somewhere. I remember the thing coming up. But I didn't see it right now. Unless it's in there. No. This. No. Okay. And it wasn't a knowledge, right? You know what I will do? I will quickly Google the Great King Code. Wait, give me a second. I'll do it on my phone. I do have to stop the recording. The Great King Code. There's a PDF apparently. The last legal code of Imperial China. Okay, well, it contains 1900 statutes across over 30 revisions between 1644 and 1912. Yeah, I don't think I'll quickly grasp what that it's about, but I read one of the punishment is death, so let's not do that. Uphold primitive justice. What would that necessarily mean? Is primitive justice just like an eye for an eye? That kind of stuff? Is it like she killed him, it's fine? It's revenge? Advocate you know what, sure. L's act of revenge may be classified as justifiable defense. I don't think so. No, justifiable defense must be directed against ongoing unlawful infringement. Then I shall advocate that the death of L's parents has always caused her misery. Her misery is the result of infringing behavior, not the infringing behavior itself. Your chances of winning are very slim. Justice and fairness are the ultimate goals of establishing laws and decrees. If primitive justice cannot be upheld, it is understandable for L to seek revenge in her own way. I want to use this as a basis to fight for her amnesty. John, I'm afraid your chances of success would be quite low. The judge can't set a precedent allowing the victim's family the right to end someone's life. The significance of the law would be lost. Alright. Then we'll quote the Great King Code, whatever it is. Joseph, I believe there is still leeway to turn things around. The laws and decrees of the King dynasty are different from those you are familiar with. The Great King Code states if one's parents are murdered and they don't go to officials, by killing the perpetrator, they are guilty of killing without authorization. The punishment is being beaten by a staff 60 times. If the perpetrator had angered them into seeking revenge, punishment will be further reduced. So the detective means that not only is Elle not required to pay with her life, there's also a chance to reduce her sentence? If Miss L does not mind, I am willing to serve as your litigation lawyer. Thank you. Solved. And we unlocked an outfit for Afu, apparently. Wait, let me just check that. We have quite a few of this. This is the suit we just unlocked, I think. I do like it more than a standard outfit, so there he goes. I'm fine with the standard for Shen. I like it. A change of attire. What a whirlwind of ups and downs and twists and turns of events this evening. But you were on your toes, fast on the draw, and quite literally the cat's whiskers. Joseph, you need to hold your horses with learning idioms. John, why would you say something like that to sadden me so? Because slow and steady wins the race. Then could you evaluate my proficiency in idioms? It is out of this world and beyond belief. You bet your boots we go hand in hand. After this, it seems Miss Yinchu and Mr. Timon have lost their inheritance rights. If you didn't just bring it up, I didn't even notice that. That's why they say, what goes around comes around. Timon dug his own grave, but Yinchu? If she ever needs money, as her brother, I won't stand by and watch. Afu, why have you been following me around? He's just getting in character. Detective, my tongue is okay now, so I can speak without any problems. Great news. For the next few days, keep a light diet, speak less, and rest your tongue. You're amazing, Detective. You managed to crack such a difficult case. Actually, if it were not for Elle's eagerness for revenge, this case... At least all's well that ends well. You were able to string the evidence and testimonies that were like scattered fishballs into an intricate and delicious fishball skewer. Afu, you may as well speak your mind. I wanted to say that the work you do, Detective, is extremely meaningful. If the truth behind the missing escort was exposed back then, this tragedy wouldn't have happened. So... I would like to be your assistant, Detective. How can you be a detective's assistant when you faint at the sight of blood? Bloodstains are inevitable at the scene of murders. I've already come up with a solution. Look, Detective. Is this your new invention? This is a filter I made just for investigating cases. I tried it out already with this on. Blood won't make me squeamish. You really put your heart into it. So you agree, Detective? I'll pack my things in a minute. I understand physics and I'm good at mechanical research. I bet I can help you in the future. We were able to get to the bottom of this thanks to you, Mr. Shen. I was only able to get close to the truth. You through pure luck. Mr. Shen, there's one more thing I'd like to ask your help with. Please speak freely, Shipmaster Lo. Afu came to me and said he wanted to go solve cases with you. Afu shut himself in and made gadgets on the ship ever since his grandfather passed away. Now that he's willing to get off, I can't tell you how happy I am. But he's a simple and pure kid. I worry about him, so please, Mr. Shen, look out for him. Rest assured, Shipmaster Lo, I will take care of Afu in your place. Mr. Shen, there's something you should know. Please go on, Miss Yinchu. Elle said that she saw me speaking with Uncle Ling in private. It's the truth. Miss Yinchu, what did Uncle Ling speak to you about? It's almost Elle's birthday, so Uncle Ling prepared a yellow coat skirt as a gift. He embroidered the geese on the skirt himself and was just asking me if they looked like ducks. Uncle Ling loved Elle with his heart. They were like a true father and daughter. How did things come to this? The location where Elle stabbed Old Ling to death was next to the speaking tube. Yet Old Ling did not resist nor call for help. He must have felt mixed emotions before he... Yinchu, why don't you tell Elle about this? Perhaps it could resolve the feelings of estrangement in her heart. Don't judge a person before you walk a mile in their shoes. Miss Yinchu, I approve of your decision. There are some grievances that cannot be resolved. By the way, Yinchu, there's something I just can't understand. At the time, why were you willing to risk it all to put away that deck of poker cards? Other people may not know, but I know that you really don't care about your inheritance. Maybe I was just scared senseless by what I saw. Actually, when investigating the poker cards, I noticed something else that was odd. That must be the secret that Yinchu truly wanted to protect. We're gonna let things be. Afu, perhaps there are other matters that Miss Yinchu finds hard to disclose. But in any case, this matter has come to an end. Thank you for understanding, Mr. Shen. If you ever visit Shanghai, you're welcome to come watch our show. Of course. Got an achievement, yay. Detective, the fog is cleared and the sun is up. That was a nice case. And there goes the sun. It also had a lot of idioms. So, did Elle's sentence reduction succeed in the end? Of course, Shen always keeps his promises. For her, it's a kind of justice finally served. But I feel like something is still not quite right in this case. Miss Wen, please share your thoughts. In theory, Elle considered murder after eavesdropping on Yinchou and Wu Timan's talk. But is it possible for someone to devise such a meticulous plan in such a short time? The plan ahead, how could she ensure all Wu's board ship? Miss Swen, you are indeed sharp, noticing even this detail. Shen, is there still a hidden aspect to this case? Indeed, someone has benefited significantly from this incident. Unfortunately, Elle decided to shoulder this on her own, and we can't find any other evidence. Is that person... Shen, Miss Wen, we've arrived in Yangzhou. There we are. Finally, there's an opportunity to give it a try. Umbrella opened successfully, hands freed. Yangtze is your hometown, isn't it? That's correct. You rarely mention it. The experiences here haven't been pleasant. Goldenwood's publishing house is right ahead. Shen, let's go there quickly. We will go there, but not anymore in this episode. So, yeah, as I said, I liked the case. It was pretty fun. I hope you enjoyed it as well. Thanks for watching, and I will see you guys again in the next case. Until then, bye bye.